What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV and we are back for another Tottenham update. Long time since we've done one. We've got a few things to update you on. And let's start off with David Ornstein from The Athletic talking about Fabio Paratici. Obviously, there's been rumours over the past couple of weeks that Paratici could be going to PSG. PSG are interested in acquiring his services. But the update from David Ornstein is that Paratici is understood to be staying at Tottenham despite reported PSG interest if Leonardo goes. Tottenham contract has a minimum term of 1.5 years and he's fully committed. PSG have had multiple direct approaches in the past, but nothing yet this time. There has been no fresh approach from PSG for Fabio Paratici. He is fully committed to Tottenham and is enthusiastic about the project. He has a close working relationship with Conte and Levy. So that ends those rumours, I guess. For now.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Look, let's say at the end of the season things do go very badly and Conte decides to leave and then PSG comes in for Paratici, maybe his head would be turned terms of, because then he has to go on another managerial search and the last one was so chaotic, like it's then you got to get the players ready for this system as opposed to what Conte had planned, and it kind of throws a lot of chaos.
I get that, but at the end of the day Paratici came here without Conte, so his future shouldn't really rely on
the first manager he tried to get was Conte.
I know, but like his future shouldn't rely on Conte's future.
No, I don't. I'm not saying it relies on his future. I'm just saying his head might be turned if Conte does decide to leave. You never know. But I think, for now it should be all right. But you got to think though, if he goes to PSG, unlimited money, like you can
would
go
you be
and
too
buy whatever
bothered
you want.
if he left?
Yeah, I would be, because I think there was a lot of excitement when he came here. I know things haven't worked out immediately in the short-term future so far since he's been here, but I do think some of the signings, I like the two boys from Juventus. I think they're going to be good for us. I like Romero.
Like those two boys, Romero fine, but those two boys from Juventus seemed more the Conte factor than the Paratici factor.
I don't know about that.
The reason I'm saying is because Conte, the way he came in and he spoke, he kind of like shat on these signings that Paratici made in the summer, Romero aside, and was like, "Oh, we need to be doing better than that. We've made mistakes in the past."
I think he was shitting more on Ndombele and Celso.
Yeah, I think those two as well. I think he was shitting on the whole past of our transfer recruitment, but he was also talking about the likes of Brian Hill and people like that.
Look, Hill, Emerson, Golini haven't been very, obviously. And look, I think Hill has a lot of quality, but in terms of being right for the Premier League, I don't think he is right now. Emerson has been awful, let's be honest. I mean, he's had some good displays, but especially at right wing back, not quite there at the moment. I'm still yet to be convinced by him. And Golini has been pretty poor whenever he's played. So from that point of view, doesn't look great, but I still believe having his contacts, and I think the fact we got Romero through the door as well was very, very positive. Although the good deals all seem to be linked to Juventus, don't they? So whether that's the only way he can get deals done if he's linked with his former club remains to be seen. I would be disappointed though, because I think he's a good guy to have around for now, and then you're always starting again with another director of football if he leaves, and who knows if Levy's going to pick the right man. At least with Paratici, we know he's got a record of success at his previous club over a long period of time.
It's also worth noting, I can't remember who it was. Was it Kamoli or someone else?
Frank Arneson or Kamoli, one of those.
I'm not sure which.
Mitchell.
It was one. No, it wasn't Mitchell. It was Frank Arneson or Kamoli. You'll be able to tell me which one it was. But the one that signed Bale and Modric and all those players.
That was Kamoli, yeah.
So at the start, we were like, who is this Kamoli, this idiot, bringing in all these players? And then like a year or two down the line, we realised, wow, okay, these players are actually good.
And he'd already left, I think, by the time
exactly. That's
came
what I'm saying.
Yes, that's also entirely possible. And you never.
So it's worth having a bit of patience with Paratici, isn't it?
Look, I think there's a reason PSG are interested in him, because he knows how to get a deal done, and I think he's shown that already at Tottenham. When we're after a player and we've got the green light, we can get it done. The only thing holding us back, I don't think it's him. I think it's the constraints he's put under. That's just the reality. And so would he fancy having no constraints over at PSG? He might well do, but then again, he might fancy a challenge, because he dominated for so long at Juventus, and now he's come over to Tottenham. It's a completely different challenge. He's got to build this club from kind of sixth, seventh place at the moment to challenging again at top four and then even bigger things. That's the challenge at the moment. And maybe that's reinvigorate him. Maybe he doesn't want to go to another league where he's just dominating again. And again, he's every year, you're going to
wants to earn his money.
Maybe, I don't know. But then maybe he would like no constraints. Who wouldn't? He can just go and spend whatever he wants.
Yeah. I guess time will tell, but I do think as long as Conte's here, I do think that kind of relationship between Paratici and Conte is going to add a lot of value to us. And I think you saw in the summer with bringing in in the January, bringing in Bentancur and Kulusevski, two top quality players that we're seeing that on the pitch that have fitted in like a glove straight away, pretty much.
Having those two work together, Conte and Paratici, is the one thing pretty much at the moment that's given me optimism in terms of what the future can hold for Tottenham, because right now there's very little in terms of the future, just because we don't know the futures about Harry Kane and things like that. If he was going to want to go, if we don't get Champions League football, what the money situation is going to be in terms of transfers, all this kind of stuff. But as long as Paratici and Conte if they both believe in the project, then that gives me optimism.
Exactly. Like when Jose Mourinho got sacked, in that moment when we hired Mason, up until that 75-day manager search, when Paratici hadn't been hired yet, the future looked very bleak at Tottenham, didn't it? Very bleak. We didn't really see much light at the end of the tunnel. And then Fabio Paratici came, gave us a bit of hope. And then when Conte came in, we really started to see some sort of light at the end of the tunnel. We just need to build on that, don't we? So.
Exactly.
All right, so that's the Paratici situation. It seems as though he is staying at Tottenham for the foreseeable future for now. Next up, we're going to be talking about Harry Kane, as Fabrizio Romano has been talking about Kane and about his future at Tottenham Hotspur. And I'll read you out the quotes. And he says, the first thing Antonio did as soon as he arrived at the Tottenham training ground was to go and shake Harry Kane's hand during his first training session as the new Spurs manager. A long dialogue in which Conte explained to Kane his vision, his ideas, the importance of the attackers in his game, and the intention to build a 3-4-2-1 with Harry Kane as a reference. Those close to Tottenham say that from that day, an excellent relationship was born between Kane and the Italian manager. Harry is understood to be a big fan of Conte's methods on and off the pitch. His training sessions are at the highest level for a collective improvement that Kane adores. His winning mentality is every single aspect of the club management and is really appreciated by the English striker. Romano also revealed that Spurs will not offer Harry Kane a new contract until the end of the season. The striker's decision could be influenced by whether or not Tottenham qualify for the Champions League. He added, Tottenham's intention is to offer Harry Kane a new contract, which will likely boost Harry Kane's net worth estimations, not in March or April, but in the summer, when he will make his choice about the future. Being able to play Champions League will be a key factor alongside the club's major investment to build a winning team ahead of the 22-23 season. Kane wants to win, so it will be up to Tottenham to convince him, but it is still too early for those final decisions.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a long way to go from now to the end of the season to try and finish as high as possible. And if we're out the Champions League again, which is looking more and more likely as each game passes, he'll have to question whether, again, he wants a third season outside the Champions League and he wants a third season not fighting for the biggest thing when he is, he will be 30 by the end of next season. So, it would be very understandable if he wants to leave, wouldn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, for me, I think it's not solely dependent on Champions League football. Obviously, it'll be a big bonus if we do get Champions League football, but I think it's solely dependent on the recruitment policy in the summer. I think that's what it's going to boil down to at the end of the day.
Yeah, but then again, can he wait to see who we're going to sign to make a decision?
Well, you know how Daniel Levy likes to sell his star assets on the last day of the window anyway. So if it goes down to the wire like that, then there is time. Then yeah,
I guess. But then there's a lot of moving parts because it depends where he's going to go and if they're willing to wait, and if he's going to try and force a move, it can get very complicated. I think. Yeah. I do kind of think even if he wants to leave, his pathway might be blocked anyway, because if we're wanting 100 million, well, there's rumours that City already agreed a deal for Haaland for 60 or 65 million or whatever, and that's probably a better fit for them. So who else is going to get there? He could go to Man United for 100 million maybe in place of Ronaldo. I guess that's an option.
Yeah, it's an option, but at the end of the day, I know they're further along that path than us, but it's not like they're on such a great trajectory at the moment, Manchester United.
So I don't know where he goes. Is he going to go? I don't know if Madrid or Barca are going to shell out 100 million for him. Bayern don't usually do that.
I don't think it'll be Madrid because they're looking at Mbappe for the summer.
And Barca just got Aubameyang, so they're really going to splash 100 million on another player.
Well, yeah, I think Aubameyang's playing more off the left, isn't he, for them?
Don't know. He's playing up front, isn't he?
I thought yesterday he played off the left, and I think he's been playing more off the left than he has up top. I think he's played a mixture of both, but they've got Ferran Torres as well.
I can't see them splashing 100 million on a 29-year-old.
Just on a side note, by the way, Ousmane Dembele is playing brilliantly for them at the moment. Have you seen
Where's
him?
he playing if not off the left?
On the right.
On the right. And where's Torres playing?
I think Torres. I think it's a mixed and match, to be honest. I think it's a very fluid system.
Anyway, I can't see them splashing 100 million on Kane. Juventus, I can't see splashing 100 million on Kane. So it's pretty much City or I think it's pretty much City or United. So maybe he might be forced to say. As I said, he might have missed the boat.
Do you think someone like Liverpool could come in with an offer?
No, because unless Salah leaves, they got Mane, Salah, Jota, Diaz. They've got players there already. Firmino, they got more than enough. There's no reason for them.
Kane's a level above anyone that they would put at the number 9.
There's no reason for them to spend 100 million on a 29-year-old. If they're going for a younger player, if they're going, they've already got a 29-year-old Mane and a 29-year-old Salah. If they're spending 100 million, they're going for a younger player.
Yeah, just depends if Salah leaves or not, because there are those rumours floating about at the moment.
If he leaves, maybe. But yeah, I think it's difficult for Kane to leave in the summer. But we need him to sign that contract. We need him to sign that contract, and I think to guarantee that we need Champions League football. I don't know if he signs a contract without Champions League football. Even if he's committed to the cause, I don't know if he signs it.
Look, it'll be hard, but I think it really. Look, if we get Champions League, I think that then he will sign. I really believe that. But if we don't make Champions League, I still think that we can persuade him to sign if the recruitment is right in the summer.
So maybe he'll wait till after the summer to sign. He won't sign it in this
Yeah, I agree with that.
In the window.
Yeah, I agree with that. But that's the situation with Harry Kane, put to you by Fabrizio Romano. There's been a podcast or an article where Aurelio Gomez has been speaking on Pochettino and Hugo Lloris with some few interesting quotes. Do you want to take us through them?
Yeah, so first of all, he's talking about Antonio Conte. He says that Conte has transformed Tottenham since he's taken over. He says, I think they're playing much better now. In the past few years, we did see a better Tottenham side. They are playing better now than they were playing at the beginning of the season. I think Conte is on track to achieve the things Pochettino did, which are interesting coming from a former Tottenham keeper. Maybe he's right. He said, the Tottenham I played for is a much different from the Tottenham after Pochettino. Conte is on the right track to help Tottenham qualify for the Champions League and fight for trophies. Talking about Harry Kane, he says every summer he tries to leave Tottenham. He says the best for the team is for him to stay. Players like to achieve for themselves, but they also like to achieve as a team as well. Unfortunately, that's not working for him, and I don't know if he's going to try and leave again. If he wants to achieve better things, he needs the support of the team, or he needs to go to another club. Even if the club signs massive players, you never know if that's going to work. If he wants to win something, I think he needs to leave. That's Gomez's take on whether he thinks Kane should stay. And then on Hugo Lloris, he says, I think Lloris is one of the best keepers in the league. And I remember when we trained together, he's a top-class keeper. He says, however, I don't think Lloris is the same at the moment. And I don't know what's happening to him, but I don't think he is playing at the same level. He says at the moment he feels David De Gea is the best keeper in the world, and he's having a great season. But it's interesting, he says that about Lloris. He says he doesn't feel like he's playing the same at the moment. I guess the same compared to what, but maybe he's taking some of his recent mistakes into account. But I don't think he's playing terrible at the moment, Lloris.
I think that he's had a strong season. But I think of late he has these mistakes have been creeping into his game, so that's probably what he's alluding to. That's what I'm taking from it anyway. Look, with Hugo, I've said it many a time, I really rate Hugo. I think he's a top quality keeper, but you got to look at his age, and you got to look. We got to start looking at a successor for him at some point, because how many years? He's got 2 years left in his contract.
He just signed a new one, yeah.
Yeah, for 2 years. So we do have to look for a successor for him.
Bring
Is
Gomez
he,
back.
yeah, a little octopus, Aurelio Gomez.
Mm.
I loved Gomez at Spurs. I really did, apart from his last year at Spurs. I mean, that was tragic. But that
His
year,
first 6 months in his last year were how terrible. He's
but
great.
that year we got Champions League. That season, he was absolutely unbelievable that season. And I always go back to that game at White Hart Lane against Arsenal. What a performance that was.
Yeah.
That free kick save from Van Persie.
If you're talking about like an individual goalkeeping season, that's probably the best out of any Tottenham in the Premier League era.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
You can definitely make it go. As much as like Lloris has been great over a long period, I don't think he's ever been in one season as good as Gomez was that season.
Some of the saves Gomez made that season was just like, how the hell did you do that?
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Some of them were just absolutely incredible.
But anyway, back on Hugo Lloris. Is he the same keeper? I think he is. Because I think every season in the past 3 or 4 years, there's been that moment in a season when the fans always question him.
Always happens every time.
Happens every season, and then he'll go on a really good run and be like, oh, why did we ever doubt him?
It's a bit like whenever Kane goes on a bad run of form. There's always, oh, is he finally finished? Is he finished now? Yeah. Is that it for Kane? And then he'll go on a crazy run of form. Oh, why do we even question whether he's finished?
And a bit like how fans are questioning Son right now.
Yeah, correct. I agree with that. And there's always a question mark. But I think Lloris, I think he's pretty much been the same this season as he has most, except for maybe that period just after the World Cup win where he was a bit iffy.
Yeah.
That was genuinely bad. But I think then he got injured and came back and whatever. So I think he's all right now. I think he's been good for a while.
Yeah, look, there's mistakes in the last 5 games or so have worried me a bit, but I think all keepers make mistakes at some point in the season. So I'm very happy with Hugo as our first choice keeper right now, and I can't think of any keeper that I would want to sign that would displace him from the team. I just can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Realistically, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But what he says on David De Gea, I completely agree. I think he is performing at an absolutely insane level this season, and I believe, he is the best goalkeeper in the world right now.
But it's another former player saying that Kane should leave if he wants to win something. All these former players, man.
He comes out, Gomez, and he's like, Conte is on the same track as Pochettino, and he's going to get Tottenham back to those days. But he still doesn't think Spurs can win anything.
Exactly. He's proper Spurs already.
But that's that. That's the quotes from Aurelio Gomez. And let's go last but not least, as Troy Parrott has won Player of the Month for MK Dons for February. He's played 33 games this season, getting 5 goals and 5 assists, and scored 2 goals in this month alone in a double. I can't remember who it was against, but I believe that
Cheltenham, was it? I think.
Yeah, you're right. Cheltenham in a 3-1 win. I believe that he's playing at a really good level, probably playing the best football of his career right now in terms of senior football. And it's just good news, because we were thinking, is this Troy Parrott ever going to make it? And maybe these are the first signs that maybe he will.
Well, over the season, 6 goals and 6 assists is pretty decent. I know it's in League One, but he's still young, 20 years old. Kane was never prolific in the lower leagues, apart from a bit of a good loan spell Millwall. He was never really prolific, so I think it's positive. And they love him there. They absolutely love him there. The admin on MK Dons,
Twitter account is loving it.
He loves him. One tweet says how this is going to turn into a Troy Parrott fan account soon. And considering as well, Troy Parrott only scored 1 goal last month, and he's still got Player of the Month. It shows that how well he must be playing just in his overall gameplay, which is really positive. And he plays mostly on the right hand side, I believe, for MK Dons, so showing a bit of versatility. And look, I'm not saying he's going to be ready for the Premier League next season, but definitely shown now, because last season, didn't he, struggled a bit at Ipswich in League One, although he was better than he was at Millwall. But maybe next season he can think about going Championship, proving himself at that level, and then the following season, or maybe even in January, coming back to Tottenham and seeing what he can do. I think it's gone a bit quiet on the Parrott train over the past couple of years, so maybe people can start up again.
Well, you know what it was? It was like that time when Jose was here, when we played Norwich in the Cup, and we had all those injuries and stuff like that. Everyone was like, get Parrott in the team, Parrott in the team, blah, blah, blah. Parrott comes into the team, misses that penalty, and nobody spoke about him ever again.
Yeah, literally. Ever since that penalty miss, it's been like no one has spoken about Parrott since then.
Yeah.
I think, look, he's starting to perform again. And he said himself, I already read some quotes from him, and he was saying how He feels like sometimes he goes on the pitch and he feels sort of a switch is like flipped for him now, and he feels like he can go on the pitch and give his absolute all in every single game, and he can't let a game pass him by, and he can't just let games go pass him by where he's not affecting it, and he's now he knows now he has to affect the game in every moment he can, and that's what he's trying to do. So
yeah, to be honest, getting him away from Dele Alli might do him some good.
Maybe that helps as well.
Because I know they were quite close off the pitch as well, Troy Parrott and Dele Alli. They were hanging out a lot with a few questionable people.
So maybe getting away from that environment is helping him.
Yeah.
And maybe all the talk as well when he was getting a lot of praise and everyone saying we should pick him, maybe he maybe got ahead of himself and where he was at.
I think so.
But now look, he's starting to contribute, so I'm happy with that, and hopefully he can be a big player for us.
Yeah.
And him and Scarlett coming through is very exciting.
Agreed. All right. So those are the Tottenham updates for today. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news stories we've brought to you today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.